Hi guys, I'm Hank Hemsoth. I welcome you to the 2020 Fredericksburg Jazz Festival. That was me playing some blues with the band Times 10 at the Elephant Club in Austin a couple years ago. And here's another clip from Parker's Jazz Club from just about a month ago. There's nothing that I enjoy more than celebrating great achievements. Not just paying off your credit card or losing 5 pounds. I mean graduating with a professional music degree. You have to thank many people for that kind of success. Your family's so important, but don't forget your teachers too. And really, we are all the sum total of the influences in our lives. We're connected with those that have supported us. So I really want to acknowledge that. Just in the last few years, I've been getting used to being the oldest guy in the room. So I'm here today not as a professor or a Grammy winner or a McDowell or NEA fellow or even a Fulbright specialist. I'm just a guy with a wealth of musical experiences and some unique credentials, enough to give you some advice. My son's college journey is well underway. He's playing jazz piano at Texas, but I left that many years ago. He's a little stressed out right now because he's starting a new, exciting chapter in his life. You know, people say it's scary to leave the comfort of your home, and later again, when you leave college, to go out into the cold, hard world. I just say that's just a bunch of nonsense. This is still America, the greatest country on earth with the greatest opportunities. Sure, if you were serving in Afghanistan or all the problems that are going on right now, I'd say yes, that's a bit scary. But really, this is going to be a piece of cake for you, and I want you to trust me. You live in America, and we're prepared for the future with this tremendous education and its greatest music schools. So I've had the opportunity to visit musicians and teachers and students all over the world. Here's a little clip from 2016 on my Fulbright Senior Specialist grant with Texas State faculty members Russell Haight, sax, and Utah Hamrick, bass. We did a citywide concert in Santiago with the Institute Pro Jazz Big Band and this exquisite vocalist, Francisca Ramirez.
Somewhere there's music, I'll faint a tune. Somewhere there's heaven, how high the moon. There is no moon above the love is far away too. Till it comes true that you love me as I love you. Somewhere there's music, how near, how far. Somewhere there's heaven, it's where you are. The brightest shine would shine if you would come to me soon. I'll take you will, I'll steal my heart. Talk to me, I'll steal my heart. I'll tell you will, I'll steal my heart. How high the moon. Muchas gracias. Un aplauso más grande para esta tremenda música.
I thought the best gift I could give you while I'm talking to you today is to give you a few of my own personal ideas on how to be successful. Hank's 6 rules of success. You know, students ask me what's the secret of success, and there's a short version like live in America, work your butt off, Maybe even try to marry wisely. Those are the short ones. But today I'm going to give you 6 paths or rules of success. These are my rules. They can apply to anyone, but that's for you to decide. And not everybody is the same. Some people want to coast through life, live life carefree and relaxed. And there's others that want to be intense. They want to be number one. They want to be successful. And that's like me. I've always wanted intensity. Number one, I wanted to take it very seriously. My career began just as a pianist in Austin, but I wanted to be a pianist in Texas, in Los Angeles, in New York City. I started out totally classical. I had a superb teacher that taught me the instrument and how to read and sight read. I felt like I was a complete musician, but what I didn't know was how to improvise. Here's an excerpt from an all Beethoven concert I did. Same for composing for movies. I didn't want to just be a composer. I wanted to be a great creative composer. I want to be first call pianist for recording sessions, for concerts, for shows, for national tours with bands. Not to be a star, but to work on big projects with famous people or someone I could really learn from. This intensity has always paid off for me. This commitment has paid off to me. So here's my rules. Here's number one, trust in yourself. Have you ever thought of making a mission statement for yourself? Hank Hemsop is a performing artist and composer. That's who I am. People are getting so much advice from colleagues, parents, and bosses. But the most important thing to do is to dig deep and ask yourselves, who do you want to be? Not what, but who. Don't be what anybody else wants. Try to figure out for yourself what makes you happy, no matter how crazy it sounds. Here's an old standard I thought about you. It's a duo, and I thought you might like to hear the solo as well as a transcription. luck seems to follow only those that are prepared well in advance at the right time. My high school buddy Christopher Cross called me up to join his band, and we went on to win 5 Grammys and an Academy Award for Best Song. This is one of the big hits called Sailing.
Well, it's not far down to paradise, at least it's not for me. And if the wind is right, you can sail away and find tranquility. Oh, the can.
While I was on the road, I actually learned to play saxophone too. For 6 great years, and I was a Warner Communications touring musician working with the Fleetwood Mac Tusk Tour and the Eagles Long Run Tour and Bonnie Raitt doing college campuses and Disney World. Let me tell you something, I had a great time doing those things. It really helped me. For me, it wasn't luck, just the payoff for all the work I had done. I was confident I could play anything, learn anything, do anything. I could do recording sessions by day, play all night, go on tours, travel the world. I had great experiences. So here's rule number 2. Break some rules. I say break some rules, not the law, but break some rules. It's impossible to be a maverick or a true original if you behave and don't want to think outside the box. That's my belief. Here's a clip of a concert I did with the legendary Joe Henderson on tenor saxophone at Antone's Club in Austin. This was a live broadcast on television. So like I said, I didn't pay attention to the rules, and I made it, and the rest is history. Which of course brings me to rule number 3, learn from failure. Anything I've ever attempted, I've always been willing to fail. I'd never really worked as a film composer, but I'd studied the skills, I was prepared. I was picked to do the music for the very first Scary Movie. This wasn't luck, it was being prepared at the right time, and I was ready to go. You just can't be paralyzed by fear of failure or you will never push yourself. You keep pushing because you believe in yourself and in your vision, and you know that it's the right thing to do, and success will come. So don't be afraid to fail. Instead, use your failures to learn. Sometimes it's the best way to progress. Here are some music excerpts from the movie I wrote the music for, Scary Movie, which has a cult following now in Austin and has just been re-released on Blu-ray DVD.
Exciting, Warren. Halloween night. The most thrilling holiday. Christmas is too expensive. Thanksgiving's for turkeys. Easter's for anyone who believes rabbits lay eggs. But Halloween. Creatures of the dark reign supreme. Demons, ghouls, monsters.
The house is open until midnight, the witching hour. For Batson's Beat, this is Suzanne Batson. KV, KDB, KVDB TV. Shit, that sucked. Are we still rolling?
So a little of that goes a long way. Let's listen to something completely different. Here's a gospel tune called Evensong that I did at the Elephant Club with the legendary Bob Minster, and it's transcribed. Okay, where were we? Oh yes, it's time for rule number 4, which is forget the cynics. How many times have you heard you can't do this and you can't do that and it's never been done before? Let's name some famous non-quitters. Bill Gates, Muhammad Ali, Steve Jobs, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Obama. Any more? Carpe diem, seize the moment. Over and over you see that. If I would have listened to the naysayers, I would still be in a practice room practicing Beethoven. I would have never toured the world, never had an enormous amount of, quote, good luck, unquote, never met and worked with the famous, never had a lifetime of achievement and good fortune, and I wouldn't be chatting here with you today. So I never listened to that. You can't. I always listen to myself and say, yes, you can. Here's a little animation Texas State President asked the jazz faculty to do. And that brings me to rule number 5, which is the most important rule of all. Work hard. You never want to fail because you didn't work hard enough. Stepping outside of your comfort zone is where the magic starts happening. That's what makes you a champion. And let me tell you, it's important to have fun in life, of course. But if you're out there partying, horsing around, watching entertainment, on Facebook, on your phone texting, someone else is out there at the same time working really hard. Someone is getting smarter and someone is winning. Just remember that. Now, if you want to coast through life, don't pay attention to any of these rules. But if you want to win, there's absolutely no way around working your butt off. So just remember, you can't climb the ladder of success with your hands in your pockets. Here is the legendary Los Angeles Philharmonic principal flute player Jim Walker playing Stella by Starlight with me. And that takes me to rule number 6, which is a very important rule. It's about giving back. Whatever path you take in your lives, you must always find time to give something back. Give something back to your community. Give something back to your state or to your country. When I was at the McDowell Artist Colony, I was thrust into a world-class group of highly motivated individuals, all in other disciplines: architects, poets, sculptors, movie makers. I stayed in the same house that Aaron Copland and Leonard Bernstein composed in. You may have heard the saying that success breeds success. Well, what success really breeds is confidence, which can lead to further success. I won 2 Fulbright specialist grants, and I spent the summer in Santiago, Chile, lecturing, performing, and holding master classes at the only jazz degree school in South America, the Pro Jazz Institute. I gave back much more than I received, and it was a wonderful, exhilarating experience. And let me tell you something, reaching out and helping people will bring you more satisfaction than anything else you've ever done. One really great thing a pianist gets to do is accompany great artists. Here's a little collage of vocalists I've been privileged to share the stage with.
Old-fashioned church time, amen. I know the Lord will make a way, amen. Oh, yes, He will.
When every road says no, every door is closed, everybody just goes on without you. I'm standing still, looking up at that hill, wondering how I'm gonna get there. It's the joy in my
This is a fun song to sing, so. Late last night I had a dream that the world was a perfect place. Every night was filled with peace and love. Oh.
I've never been to seminary, but I've been to Calvary. I've never been to seminary, but I've been to Calvary.
lullaby of Bethlehem, that's what I always hear when you sound.
While Randy Brecker and I won't be sharing the stage this year, we hope to next year. Our master classes and seminars have been a great resource for music students. Here's a few clinics I've done with some great collaborators.
part of the overall jazz scene. I mean, Miles Davis with Kind of Blue, some people say that was the start of modal jazz. John Coltrane did a lot with modal jazz, and all sorts of artists subsequent to that. You know, there's stuff to learn. You know, if you listen to modal jazz, you'll get some ideas and you'll be able to develop a vocabulary. You know, there's different ways to approach that where you're playing off of different scales and modes. I could demonstrate a little bit. There's a tune called Impressions that John Coltrane wrote that, interestingly, I talked about classical music earlier. The tune Impressions, how many people know Impressions? Raise your hand. It goes like this. That tune, that melody, was written by Benjamin Britten. It's in a Benjamin Britten symphony, written in the early 1900s, note for note. And Coltrane took that and, of course, put it in a very, very different setting, and he modulated up a half step and then came back. But Branford Marsalis had a radio show on a flight I was on, and he was he was citing examples of classical composition influencing jazz composition, and that was one of the examples, and I found that to be really interesting. Anyway, this is a modal tune. It's just two chords. It's D minor and E flat minor. So you have to find some stuff to play on that. It's a little different than playing through changes of like a standard. So let me try to demonstrate. So you may have noticed at what point Hank played a diminished voicing on the D minor, and I picked up on it. I heard it, and I went, cool. And I sort of went there, and I was playing off this whole half diminished scale. There's a great example of knowing part of vocabulary to know these different scales and things. So I knew this half whole diminished and was able to identify the sound of the chord that Hank played, and then play something that fit with that, which is this whole half diminished scale. And luckily, I've spent some time in the practice room fooling around with that scale and finding little patterns and ways of breaking up the notes in that scale, like you can play it in thirds. You can make a pattern out of any scale where you take the 1, 3, 4, 2, 3, 5, 6, 4, 5, 7, 8, 6. It sounds maybe a little more complicated than it is. If you took a major scale, it would just be this. So if you do that with that whole half diminished scale, play that chord, Hank. Kind of a little, a step towards playing something melodic rather than just a scale. So all these little things come into play when you're playing off of modal music. But modal music is real cool because it's open, it's very open, and you can interject or superimpose a lot of different things.
One of the greatest pleasures is improvising, where everything you know about your instrument combines with your knowledge and experience to spontaneously create something new. And doing it live with a band. Listen, getting praise from your peers is simply the best. Hey, well, I hope you've enjoyed our time together. I'm looking forward to being with you in Fredericksburg next year. And I want to thank Fredericksburg Jazz Festival producer Jason Younts, who, by the way, is one of my past students, for all the work he's done to make this festival its great success. So let's not lose that optimism and that spirit to excel. That's the key to professionalism and success. Remember, it's not luck, it's preparation and hard work. Stay safe, and thanks for listening.